we believe on this side, and we have an absolute commitment to investment in higher education for economic reasons. We believe that investment in higher education and education generally has a significant economic benefit to the nation. But it's not just an economic benefit. We believe that when we invest in higher education, we are investing in the health of our communities. We're investing in transforming communities. So in the context of my electorate of Bass, and in the context of Northern Tasmania, we know that the experience in Northern Tasmania is that we have an underperformance within the Tasmanian economy. We have communities that are mired in disadvantage, in part because of the lack of educational attainment, and in part because there's been an underinvestment in ensuring that people go on to either technical and further education or on to higher education. I've already referred to earlier with the economic flow-on effects that arise from investment in health in higher education. We know that simply the presence of higher education graduates in a market is a benefit to everyone within a community. We know that the evidence is that this produces jobs, that it actually creates jobs. In the context of the investment in the University Relocation Project in Bass, we know that the ongoing jobs and employment that will be created within my community are very, very significant. In fact, the investment of some $300 million will drive jobs and growth for the next 10 or more years. But what is this government's response with respect to investment within the higher education sector? Despite the fact that this government is quite appropriately investing in the University Relocation Project in Northern Tasmania, something which is vitally important for my community, we see that the University of Tasmania is receiving less funding. Its growth in funding over the next 5 to 10 years is severely reduced. I submit that that's as a result of this government's wrong priorities. They have prioritised cuts to income tax, cuts to corporate taxation, instead of investing in education. When they talk about investment in education through Gonski 2.0, they're actually shortchanging many communities throughout Australia, particularly the communities that are served by the member for Solomon, my friend, and also within Tasmania. We know that there is an underinvestment within those disadvantaged communities within the Northern Territory and Tasmania. So despite the obvious imperative to invest further in higher education, we have a government that is putting less money in reduced expenditure in the higher education sector, and of course increasing the rate at which people are required, that is graduates are required, to repay their student loans when they graduate. Now, I've said before, this is vitally important, particularly for disadvantaged communities like my community in Bass, that we see people take up the opportunity for higher education, that they invest in the future, not just their future, but the future of our community. Any steps by this government to place barriers in front of people taking higher education on is a retrograde step. Thank you.